Quality, comfort, and grip at an affordable price. Whether it's our standard, pro, or elite socks, there's an option for everyone. Try a pair for yourself now at puregripsocks.com.
Another 5 minutes have passed, which means that Nike have dropped yet another special edition Mercurial colorway, this time coming in a pretty unique glossy orange box with gold swooshes. It also comes with a special string bag with a logo that you might recognize, but of course, the boots themselves are what you're here to see, where if you weren't crazy about the orange Mercurials that just came out, you have now another option to choose from. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the Deja Vu Nike Mercurial Vapor 16 Elite that can be yours for the low price of $295, which is only an extra $25 over a normal colorway that's already gone up $10 from when the Vapor 16 first came out. And here they are side by side with the boot that they pay tribute to in the 2018 Mercurial Vapor 12 Elite in what was one of two launch colorways, also known as the Vapor 360. You can see that they are very similar shades of orange, although I would say the OG is a little bit lighter. And of course, you do have that familiar Mercurial M logo there on the heel, this time in more of a metallic gold, as well as the Nike swoosh made up of little lines here on the medial side of the upper. Why they didn't do the sole plate in a slightly darker iridescent finish, I'm not sure. But you don't need me to tell you that this is a good looking pair of football boots. What I do want to talk about and point out, however, is that we have yet another graphic variation for this current generation of Mercurial that once again deletes what was the flagship feature of the Vapor 16 and Superfly 10, which is of course the GripKnit upper. Where just like other colorways, the Nike swoosh seen here in black, as well as the Nike swoosh on the medial side, along with that kind of dividing line on an angle, everything back of that has kind of that glossy polyurethane finish that does not provide any grip. Of course, also the laces, as well as the stretchy Flyknit area directly underneath the laces, does not have that grippy texture either. What does have the grippy texture is the exposed GripKnit that you have a little bit of here between this section of the upper and the top of the Nike swoosh, this tiny little section here above the swoosh, and then again, kind of the same thing happening above the glossy section here on the medial side. However, the entire section running through the forefoot and toe box area, even across the top of the toes, which is really difficult to see in pictures, is more of that glossy finish, which is what has allowed them to kind of have that gradient effect where the colorway looks like it fades from kind of like a goldy orange into more of a vibrant orange, which is the actual GripKnit. In other words, one of the main features of this football boot that they even list on the upper has been diminished to basically a small section in and around all the other graphics, where Nike have more or less decided that their key performance technology is less important than the way that the boots look. Where of course, I don't have a problem with them covering up the GripKnit in the sense that I think these are going to make you play worse. That couldn't be further from the truth. And I know there's gonna be lots of people that are of the opinion that none of this football boot tech even matters. But again, when these football boots are marketed around these key technologies that are supposed to enhance performance, what is the point of covering it up and then also not disclosing that to customers when you launch a colorway that covers up basically, I don't know, 60-70% of the GripKnit that is usually going to make contact with the ball. It's kind of like if Adidas took the Predator elements and on certain colorways just made them not grippy but didn't tell anybody. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but it is ultimately a little bit deceptive in regards to you're not necessarily getting what you think you're getting. Plus, in this particular situation, Nike is charging you a pretty big premium to effectively make a football boot that on paper, at least according to their marketing, would be considered worse. Where of course it's not a deal breaker, and if you honestly don't love the idea of extra grip on the ball because of the GripKnit upper of this current generation of Mercurial, I suppose if you can justify the $25 premium over a regular colorway, then this might be the better option for you. And outside of just having less grip kind of through the forefoot and toe box area, the boot as a whole is exactly the same as any other colorway. No difference in regards to fit, weight, general responsiveness, and of course the traction provided, along with that underfoot cushion and just general softness that you get from the Air Zoom cushion in the forefoot and toe box area of the sole plate. Again, I think it's a great colorway, and even with the majority of the GripKnit covered up, I still think this is a fantastic pair of speed boots. But if you're going to market a technology as being performance enhancing and really the reason to buy the latest Mercurial, if you're just going to cover it up for the sake of looks, then honestly, what's the point? Don't get me wrong, I'm all for more variation and options when it comes to football boots, but I do at the same time think there should at least be some level of consistency. And at the moment, for the Mercurial series in particular, that does not seem to be the case.